बच्चा बच्चा राम है। शरीर मंदिर सा पावन, हर शरीर मंदिर सा पावन, हर मानव उपकारी है, हर मानव उपकारी है। जहाँ सिंह बन गए खिलौने, जहाँ सिंह बन गए खिलौने, गाय जहाँ माँ प्यारी है, शंख बजाता, जहाँ सवेरा शंख बजाता, लोरी गाती शाम है, लोरी गाती शाम है। हर बाला देवी की प्रतिमा, हर बाला देवी की प्रतिमा, बच्चा बच्चा राम है, बच्चा बच्चा राम है। इस देश की माटी, चंदन है इस देश की माटी, तपोभूमि हर ग्राम है, तपोभूमि हर ग्राम है। हर बाला देवी की प्रतिमा, हर बाला देवी की प्रतिमा, बच्चा बच्चा राम है, बच्चा बच्चा राम है। धर्म से भाग्य बदलते, धर्म से भाग्य बदलते, शमनिष्ठा कल्याणी है, शमनिष्ठा कल्याणी है। याद और जप की गाथाएं, याद और जप की गाथाएं, कवि की वाणी, बाकी कवि की वाणी है। गंगा जलसा, जहाँ का गंगा जलसा, गंगा जलसा, गंगा जलसा, गंगा जलसा, जहाँ का गंगा जलसा। निर्मल है अविराम है, निर्मल है अविराम है। हर बाला देवी की प्रतिमा, हर बाला देवी की प्रतिमा, बच्चा बच्चा राम है, बच्चा बच्चा राम है। चंदन है इस देश की माटी, चंदन है इस देश की माटी, तपोभूमि हर ग्राम है, तपोभूमि हर ग्राम है। हर बाला देवी की प्रतिमा, हर बाला देवी की प्रतिमा, बच्चा बच्चा राम है, बच्चा बच्चा राम है, बच्चा बच्चा राम है, बच्चा बच्चा राम है।
श्री गुरु चरण सरोज रज, निज मनु मुकुरु सुधारि, बरनउ रघुबर बिमल जसु, जो दायक फल चारि। बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके, सुमिरौ पवन कुमार। बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि, हरहु कलेश विकार। जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर, जय कपीसतिहु लोक उजागर। रामदूत अतुलित बल धामा, अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा। महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी, कुमति निवार सुमति के संगी। कंचन बरन विराज सुबेसा, कानन कुंडल कुंजित केसा। हाथ वज्र और ध्वजा विराजे, कांधे मूंज जनेऊ साजे। शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन, तेज प्रताप महाजगबंदन। विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर, राम काज करिबे को आतुर। प्रभु चरित्र सुनिबे को रसिया, राम लखन सीता मन बसिया। सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सियहि दिखावा, बिकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा। भीम रूप धरि असुर असुर संहारे, रामचंद्र के काज सवारे। लाय सजीवन लखन जियाए, श्री रघुबीर हर्षि उर लाए। रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बड़ाई, तुम मम प्रिय भरत ही सम भाई। सहस बदन तुम रोजस गावै, अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावै। सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीसा, नारद सारद सहित अहिसा। जम कुबेर दिगपाल जहाते, कवि कोविद कहि सके कहाते। तुम उपकार सुग्रीव ही कीन्हा, राम मिलाय राजपद दीन्हा। तुम्हरो मंत्र विभीषण माना, लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना। जुग सहस्र जो जन पर भानु, लील्यो ताहि मधुर फल जानू। प्रभु मुद्रिका मेलि मुख माहि, जलधि लांघि गए अचरज नाहि। दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते, सुगम अनुग्रह तुमरे तेते। राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे, होतन आज्ञा बिनु पैसारे। सब सुख लहै तुम्हारी सरना, तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना। आपन तेज सम्हारो आपै, तीनों लोक हाकते कापै। भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवै, महावीर जब नाम सुनावै। नासै रोग हरै सब पीरा, जपत निरंतर हनुमत बीरा। संकट ते हनुमान छुड़ावै, मन क्रम बचन ध्यान जो लावै। सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा, तिनके काज सकल तुम साजा। और मनोरथ जो कोई लावै, सोई अमित जीवन फल पावै। चारों जुग परताप तुम्हारा है, प्रसिद्ध जगत उजियारा। साधु संत के तुम रखवारे, असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे। अष्ट सिद्धि नौ निधि के दाता, असबर दीन जानकी माता। राम रसायन तुम्हरे पासा, सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा। तुम्हरे भजन राम को पावै, जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावै। अंत काल रघुबर पुर जाई, जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाई। और देवता चित्तन धरई, हनुमत से सर्व सुख करई। संकट कटई मिटई सब पीरा, जो सुमिरै हनुमत बलबीरा। जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई, कृपा करहु गुरुदेव की नाई। जो सत बार पाठ कर कोई, छूटहि बंदी महासुख होई। जो यह पढ़े हनुमान चालीसा, होय सिद्धि साखी गौरीसा। तुलसीदास सदा हरि चेरा, की जय नाथ हृदय महडेरा। पवन तनय संकट हरन, मंगल मूर्ति रूप। राम लखन सीता सहित, हृदय बसहु सुरभूप। सियावर रामचंद्र की जय, पवन सुत हनुमान की जय।
कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्।
Jai Shri Krishna, everyone. A very warm welcome to all you respected sadhaks to yet another interpretation session. Let us begin by bowing our heads and acknowledging the latent presence of our Param Pujya Gurudev Swami Govind Dev Giriji Maharaj, whose grace has paved this beautiful divine journey of read Gita, teach Gita, and live Gita. Prayer is the key of morning and bolt of the night. So let's call forward Savitri Didi, who is from Vijayanagaram and has joined Gita Parivar in December of 2022. She is currently a sadhak of L4, loves music and teaching, is a housewife, and is giving seva as a tech NGC in Gita Parivar. Savitri Didi.
जय श्री कृष्ण दीदी। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं श्रीकृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं।
Thank you so much, Didi, for this beautiful divine beginning. Bhodeep, Tvam Brahmrup, Andhakar Nivaraka, Imam Maya Krit Puja, Gris Teja Pravardhen, Om Deepebhyo Namah. For the Deep Prajalan, let's call forward Harita Didi, who joined Gita Parivar in 2021 and is a co-trainer for L1, L2, L3 and L4. She is also examiner for Jigyasu Pathak and Pathik. Didi.
निषिद्धैरप्येभिर्लुलितमकरन्दो मधुकरैः करैरिन्दोरन्तश्छुरित इव सम्भिन्नमुकुलः विधत्तां सिद्धिन्नो नयनसुभगामस्य सदसः प्रकीर्णः पुष्पाणां हरिचरणयोरञ्जलिरयम् शरदिन्दुनिभां शुभ्रवस्त्रैरलङ्कृताम् कलहंसकृतावासां वरदां शारदां नुमः।
Thank you, Didi, for this divine darshan, and it has set the ambience for today's evening. Today's evening is Vivechan by our very, very, very own Shraddha Didi. Shraddha Didi is a BE Electronic and Postgraduate Diploma in IT System and Management. She has worked as a mobile application developer and team lead for more than 13 years. Didi has been conducting Śrīmad-Bhagavadgītā classes at her residence in Hyderabad for more than 9 years now and is associated with Gita Parivar since August of 2020 directly as a trainer. Didi is a disciple of Swamiji himself, and for Gita Parivar, she is giving her seva as a trainer, examiner, vivechak, and heading the class monitoring team also. Didi is going to take us in this divine journey of second chapter, and it is towards this learning that Didi has opened path for all the people who did not understand the Vivechan interpretation in Hindi. So let's welcome our Shraddha Didi. Shraddha Didi.
Yeah, Jai Shri Krishna. Am I audible, Didi?
Yes, Didi, you are.
Sorry, there was a power outage here. Let me know if I'm clearly audible once. Just switch to a different network. Just give me a minute. I'll quickly switch to a different network.
Till that time, Didi is changing her system. We know that with technology, we can be challenged at times. But then this technology has opened the online classes for us. So let's be grateful. Also, today 8:30 there is Gita Sevi program. So our journey from sadhak to Sevi can take this leap. I'm sure most of you are giving seva. You saw our Sevis who presented the Prarthana and Deep Prajalan. They are all multifaceted. They are working as well as giving seva, learning. They are sadhaks. We too can take this journey, take that leap. So today at 8:30, do attend our Gita Sevi Bane program and try to lend a hand for the upcoming session that will start on January 5th. So let's be prepared to attend Gita Sevi program immediately after this interpretation session at 8:30 today and lend hand into seva in spreading the word about this Gita ji, because what our Param Pujya Gurudev has always said, read Gita, teach Gita, and live Gita. So Monday to Friday, we are all reading Gita, learning the shlokas. Teach Gita is not only just by being a trainer, but by being any form of sevi where we can spread the awareness about Gita ji. That's teach Gita, and live Gita naturally. Didi is going to give us example in today's session to be able to live Gita. Yes, Didi, we can see you.
Sorry. I'm extremely sorry about the disturbance, everybody. Am I audible, Didi, clearly?
Yes, Didi, you are loud and clear. Yes, Didi.
Okay. Thank you, Didi. A very warm welcome to the session, all of you. It's wonderful having all of you together here. Let's begin with the pratna. First, go down to Swamiji, who is our guru, because of whom we all are here to discuss today's session. Let us remember Guruji and Shri Krishna himself. Hari Om. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Krishnaya Vasudevaya Hare Paramatmane Pranataklishanashaya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavatam Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Krathitam Puranamuninam Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamritavarshiniim Bhagavatim Ashtadashaധ്യായിനീം Ambatvāpanusandadhāmi Bhagavadgīte Bhagavadveshini. Om Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Shri Krishnaya Namaha. And Om. A very warm welcome to the session, all of you. We are in the second last session for the second chapter, that is the Sankhya Yoga. It is a very beautiful chapter, and so far what we have seen in this chapter is extremely important, has been very crucial in converting whatever we are trying to achieve in our life. We ultimate motive of this human birth is to attain salvation, to attain the ultimate moksha. And this chapter is slowly taking us through important crucial points, and it is taking it as a very sukshma level, at a very subtle level, our daily day-to-day activities, how we can do beautifully so that we can free ourselves from this vicious cycle of birth and death, is what we will be seeing. What we have seen so far is extremely beautiful. Two very important shlokas, very popular shlok, Karmanyeva Adhikaraste, we have seen last time. And another very crucial, very important shlok that we saw was Yogasthak Kuru Karmani. Both the shlokas are extremely important. And just to sum up, what was the important takeaway? Because today's discussion will also be based on what we have seen earlier, and what we have seen in the previous shlokas is extremely important. And to summarize only two sentences, very importantly, which is Swamiji, the Sri Krishna has told that when you are doing a task, when we are doing any task, what is important? Two important things. Do it with full concentration, ekagrata, and savdhanta, cautiousness. We saw this last time. So when we are taking the, when we are doing the task, we have to do it with full concentration and full cautiousness. And when we are enjoying its fruits, or how should be our perception towards the fruits of the action, that should be of samata, that is equanimity, and happiness, prasannata. Swamiji says two things, the same thing. Karma, when we are doing actions, two things are important, ekagrata and some savdhanta, that is alertness, be very cautious and be do your task with full concentration. And when you are looking at the fruits of the actions, look at it with a sense of equanimity. Whether you are successful or failure, don't get boggled by what are the fruits that we have got. And at the same time, be happy with what we have got. And when these two are combined, when these four things are combined, what we get, the culmination of all this is yoga. That is what we have seen in the last shloka that we discussed last time. Yogas kuru karmani. Sangam tyaktva phalani cha. Very beautiful shloka we have seen. And further to that, what we are going to see today are another very important shlokas that we'll be seeing today. Shri Krishna has so far explained us the how to convert. We were on a path of discussion where we were discussing how our karma, how our daily actions, can we convert it to karma yoga, so that we can attain freedom from the distress that we experience in the world. So, in continuation to that, Shri Krishna says, दूरेण यवरं कर्म दूरेण यवरं कर्म बुद्धियोगात् धनञ्जय बुद्धौ शरणमन्विच्छ कृपणाः फलहेतवः. Now about this shlok, what Shri Krishna is telling in this particular shlok is for the people who are doing anything with the help, with a intent of fruits in their mind, with the intent of some action in their mind. So this shlok is specifically for the people who, how they are doing their shlok, how they are doing their actions. They are doing it with some or the other results in their mind. So, for instance, now we see this very often in our daily lives also. When somebody is doing, so cooking something nice in the house, immediately WhatsApp status, donating something, there has to be the name published everywhere. So this kind of everything is done with expectation of some kind of fame to be achieved from the action. So there is some desire that we are seeking from the action. Such people are phalahetaha. What we see here, kripana phalahetaha. What Shri Krishna tells about such people is, such people who are kripana phalahetaha, they are wretched. See, they are not, they are very, in Hindi there is a word lachar, they are very dependent, they are very helpless. You know how? Because they are always dependent on, they're broken completely. They are always dependent on fruits for something. And in comparison to any action done with an intent of getting some fruits out of it, as compared to an action that is done with some fruits, the one which is done under the influence of buddhi yoga, that is something that is done with the help of jnana yoga, which is done in the purview of the karma yoga, is any time much more superior. So what Shri Krishna is saying here, durena yavaram means durena hi, it is very, very inferior. What is very inferior? The karma, the action which is done with intent of what? Fruits in the mind, as compared to what is done with wisdom, with yoga wisdom. And what is that kind of wisdom? No matter what, now when we are doing this, when we are thinking about this, here he's saying buddhau sharanam anvicha. He's, what Shri Krishna is advising us to do, that a person is doing any action under the influence of an intellect. We all are doing something. You all have come to listen to the Vivechan. Under the influence of the intellect, under the influence of the desire that we have to learn Śrīmad-Bhagavadgītā. Similarly, everybody is doing some or the other action under the influence of intellect. Now, the intellect which is going to take you towards buddhi yoga, towards jnana yoga, which is something which will explain you how an action has to be done. That kind of buddhi you have to take refuge under buddhau sharanam anvicha. So what Shri Krishna here is telling, any action done under the influence of an intellect which is going to drive you towards karma yoga is much more superior. The other actions are much more inferior. We have to understand this when we are donating. So just remember this: when a donation is being done, whom would you respect more? Just from your city, somebody who is doing everything only for the purpose of showing off, or someone who is doing it with an intent to actually help? Which intent is more pure? That intent we have to follow. That should be the intent in every other action. And reinforcing this, Shri Krishna says, now we have seen that intellect is going to drive. We have to take refuge under a correct type of intellect. And what is that intellect? Shri Krishna is telling further. And how is that intellect important? बुद्धियुक्तो जहातीह उभे सुकृत दुष्कृते तस्माद् योगाय युज्यस्व योगः कर्मसु कौशलम् बुद्धियुक्तो जहातीह उभे सुकृत दुष्कृते. See, when we are under the influence of an intellect which is going to drive us towards karma yoga, what Shri Krishna has told in the 49th shloka, that any task done under the influence of, under the effect of an intellect which is going to drive you towards karma yoga is superior. And how it is superior, that we will understand in this particular shloka. How it is superior? Because this buddhi yukto jahatiha, this kind of buddhi, this kind of wisdom, the wisdom of what? Karma yoga, the wisdom of how to do the things in the right way, this intellect is going to do what? Ubhe sukrita dushkrite. Jahatiha ubhe sukrita dushkrite. It is going to ward off all the punya and pap, the sins and rewards which is stuck to any actions. What does it mean? Now first let's understand the word sukrita dushkrite. Sukrita means punya. In Hindi, it is called punya, that is the rewards of all the good deeds that we accumulate. And dushkrute is what? The pap, the sins that we get from the undesirable actions. Now, both, ubhi means both the sins and the good the sins and punya rewards are accrued by our actions. When a person is doing any action under the influence of karma yoga, such a person is free from both. He gets free from both this punya and the pap. He will be free from both sins and the rewards. Tasmad yogaya yuchyasva yoga karmasu kaushalam. This is extremely important. Tasmad yogaya yuchyasva, because this intellect is a very liberating intellect. See, what we all want is the ultimate liberation. Now, so far, with our limited knowledge, whatever we have seen, whatever puja part and whatever we have heard so far, what we have understood from the childhood is that we should do good actions so that we get to live in Swarga. We get heaven, isn't it? And we are all heaven driven people so far. But beyond that also there is something. So if ultimate liberation has to be attained, it is not just hell, protecting yourself from hell like activities, going to the heaven. No, actual liberation is beyond both these. So in order to be liberated in a complete way, in a proper way, what is required? That you don't get stuck even with the happiness and the sadness. Don't get stuck in heaven also. Go beyond that. See, one very beautiful thing Jnaneshwar Maharaj says in this perspective is that Sukh, this heaven, Svarga, which we get, the heaven is also a Sukhatmak Pap. It's a Punyatmak Pap. Means what? There also you are stuck. We have to understand that as a hell is a binding, the heaven is also a binding only. It is a beautiful binding, a more leisure-for, but it is also a binding. Okay, so there also we will be bound again. We will be doing some or the other actions there. After our credit card score is over there, we'll have to come back to this earth. to again in some or the other world. So we'll still be stuck in these different worlds. Either they will be beautiful, comforting worlds, or they could be painful worlds like in Arpalo. But again, the cycle is going to continue. Liberation is not that. Liberation is beyond that. So to be liberated in a true form, what has to be done? We have to have an intellect that will take us beyond these. That is why Tasmat Yogaya Yujyasva. When in these verses where Shri Krishna is using the word yoga, understand it is Karma Yoga. Okay, Tasmat Yogaya Yujyasva. So devote yourself to what? Karma Yoga. And Yoga Karmasu Kaushalam. This phrase is extremely important. Yoga karmasu kaushalam, and it is also a misinterpreted phrase sometimes. Yoga karmasu kaushalam. What it actually means is karma can be mastered. Any action can be mastered when it is done in the sense of a yoga. When it is done in the form of a yoga. Now understand, when it is done in the form of, don't understand yoga as that just yoga, pranayam, all that. No, yoga is what we have seen in Karmanyeva Adhikaraste. How we have to do our actions by protecting ourselves from the results, by giving up on the expectations of any fruits. That time we had seen one very important example also, like how we do any, when we have to, when a doctor is doing a surgery, what they will do to protect their hands from the mess, and to protect the patient from the injuries, they will wear gloves in the hand so that the infection of the hand doesn't reach the patient, and the patient's the surgery time mess also doesn't reach the hand. The hands also remain clean. So we wear gloves. Similar gloves we have to put on our mind when we are doing the actions. Okay, so we have to cover our mind, protect our mind. Just when we go out in rain, we'll carry an umbrella, we'll wear a raincoat, and we'll ensure that our body doesn't get wet. Similarly, when you are doing any actions, ensure that your mind is not getting influenced by the actions, by the results of the actions. That is the Karma Yoga. That is what is Karma Yoga. So here when Shri Krishna says Tasma Yogaya, just for devote yourself to this Karma Yoga. Devote yourself to this type of Karma Yoga, and then what will happen? Then, and Shri Krishna gives a very important definition of how do we master such an action. Yoga karmasu kaushalam. These are interrelated. So by mastering yoga, if you want to you want to have perfection in your karma, you have to understand the yoga karmasu kaushalam. The yoga is going to give you mastery of your actions. Many people misunderstand this. They feel that doing their actions with full perfection is yoga. That is not what this phrase means. Doing your actions perfectly is not yoga, but doing your actions under the purview of yoga is the actual action. Understand this phrase very carefully. Yoga karmasu kaushalam. That is, karma can be mastered, can be perfected. Every action can be perfected by doing yoga. And then naturally a question should come, what is yoga? Shri Krishna has explained in this chapter itself, Samatvam Yoga Uchyate. So wherever you forget that, what is yoga, how do I master any action, then for that you have to also remember Samatvam Yoga Uchyate. What it is, that if you do all the actions with a sense of equanimity, whether person appreciates me or not, I will cook naturally. Now normally I'll cook to my best possible cooking skills, whether my family members or whoever is eating is appreciating or not appreciating, irrespective of that. So everybody feels, last time also in the question answer session, we saw many people had this doubt that how do we do this? This appears very difficult. Understand that yoga is yoga shastra. When you are saying Gita is a yoga shastra. When we use the word shastra, it means what? Science. When we do science, there is something called theory and there is also a practical, isn't it? Without practicals, there is no science. All those who are students of science and those who are not students of science will also know that without the practicals, there is no point in science. So what is the practical thing in this? to get into this habit. For whoever who has a doubt, how do I do this, Devi? This sounds very, difficult. We have to make one habit. Just make an habit of doing at least one task daily, in which you will not expect any reward. Just one task. Our Gita Sevis are already doing this. Huh? Now, today we have this Gita Sevi session. Very beautiful opportunity to start off with Karma Yoga. Because one action you do, I will spread the message of Bhagavad Gita without expecting anything. What we get, we don't get anything except satisfaction and love of Sri Krishna. This is one example I am giving. Any social service, I will do some good action. Go and teach in some orphanage. I will take out some time to teach my mate's child. Any good action, any action, one action I will do such that I don't keep any expectation of reward. And when an action is done, this will be the beginning, the first step. And that is how your practical towards Karma Yoga will begin. Gradually we can increase this. And we see these, for people who think this is very difficult, it is not. For this we have to look at the lives of great people. One very inspiring personality whom I often talk about is Tilak ji. In his life there are so many examples. Sometimes I end up thinking ye batao ya wo batao, what should I talk about? So when Tilak ji was, he got arrested once. He was at his friend's house. He was being arrested for one of the articles that he had written in Kesari. And when he was being arrested, his friend said, why no, we will seek a bail for you. And when all these things, these people around him some of them were looking at the bail, looking into these arrangements for the bail, and what Tilakji was doing, nicely sleeping in the prison. And people are worried. Now, the person who is the jailer is there. He's like, how can you sleep? The entire world is worried about you. He said, see, it was my time to sleep. I follow this yoke. It was my time to sleep. So my eyes, I got sleep. It's 9 o'clock. It's my sleeping time. I'll sleep. Now, whether it is on the bed of my house or whether it is on the stones of your jail, sleeping is sleeping. See, Shitoshna Sukha Dukkheshu, no matter where am I sleeping, my action is, it is not getting, it is not disturbing him. That is the, Uttam Sthiti, that is the best, perfected yoga through it. That, see, whatever Grantha he has written, Gita Rahasya, it is written in a jail. Imagine if one day we are, during the COVID times, we were grounded in our own houses, how stressed some people had become. And imagine when he was in jail, or Veer Savarkarji was in jail, they have created big literatures. They have written such great books when they were in jail. Imagine what might be the mental state they were in. Imagine the state that is the state we have to reach. We are living much more comfortable lives. So we have to give all this a very serious thought and understand Bhagavad Gita not only meaning word by word, bring it into our practical lives. And further reinforcing this thought, Shri Krishna continues, Karmajam buddhi yukta hi phalam tyaktva manishinaha janma bandha vinirmukta padam gacchantyanhamayam. Karmajam buddhi yukta hi, whatever we have discussed so far, no, karma yoga, jnana yoga, and what are the implications of this? It is all summarized in this shloka. What Shri Krishna is saying, karmajam means born out of actions. Buddhi yukta hi, here comes your jnana yoga, which is possessing appropriate knowledge for doing any action. Jnana yoga. So what Shri Krishna is talking about, people, who are those people? Manishanaha, the wise people, the yogis, the sages. What is he telling about them? That all the actions that they do, they are doing with a sense of correct intellect. By possessing the intellect, by possessing jnana yoga, they will do all the actions. And how they will do? They will do it without any expectation of results. While they do this, while they abandon all the expectations of result, what happened? They become free. From what? Janma bandha vinirmukta. Janma is a bandha. Here, that word bandha is very important. It is a binding. Yet you're coming to birth and again dying, coming to birth, all these, this is a binding. And such people who do their actions like this, they get freed from what? By the freed from what? Freed from this cycle of birth and death. And what happens to them? Padam gacchantyanāmayam. They will attain a very special place. Very special place. Now, before we move to this second line, again, let us look at the word manishinaha. Manishinaha, Shri Krishna has used this word. We have to understand what is the strength of the manishinaha, the wise people. We have to understand their strength is jnana yoga, having the appropriate knowledge, having the appropriate intellect. What is the appropriate intellect? They do not allow the fruits of the actions to be created only. Now, here when Shri Krishna is saying phalang tyaktva manishinaha, when they are phalang tyaktva manishinaha, he is saying they have completely abandoned, so they will not think about it. For us, everything that we do has to come with some or the other result that has to be there. But for these people, what Shri Krishna is saying, they do not let the fruits be created. Forget about enjoying the fruits of all the actions. They are not allowing those fruits to be created. Why? By abandoning them. When our freedom fighters, I quote this many times, when our freedom fighters started with their struggle, they didn't even know. When Jhansi Ki Rani went out to fight, did she know whether she's going to win the battle or no? But she had to do something to protect Jhansi. There is no guarantee whether they will be, when the soldiers are going to protect their country. There is no guarantee what is going to happen in the end. But in spite of this, just do the action. That is how it should be. And how should this giving up be? When we say disown the fruits of action, it has to be wholeheartedly giving up from within. How people do. They'll do yajna puja at our home. Already I see some faces smiling there when we say this. They'll do Shri Krishnarpanamastu. Mukh se Shri Krishnarpanamastu. But within that, I did this puja, still not got the results. I did this, still not got the results. I whole day saying Shri Krishnarpanamastu. But from within, what am I getting is still there. So this disowning is not from within. That is very important. But a person who is able to disown this from the root, okay, from the depth, that kind of person will be Janma Bandha Vinirmukta Padam Gacchantyanāmayam. There is a saint. This is for some people, you unless we give this, abandon this. Now, when we are saying the fruits of any actions, it doesn't only mean the fruits as in of what you're doing, even when what you're talking, of what somebody else did to you, all this is accumulating into actions. So small thing like she said this to me, keeping a grudge in that, okay, what that action also, you have heard that thing, isn't it? We have heard something, so it has also resulted in processing some or the other bhav, some emotion has come in out of that also. That is also binding. In now in Shegao, there was a great saint, Sant Gajanan Maharaj, extremely great saint. He was a very he is an incarnation of God himself. And when we read his Pothi is his book, his entire Charitra, his entire life story is there in Sri Gajanan Vijay Grantha. In that, there is an example of his devotee Bhaskar, who was bitten by a dog. That ultimately became the cause of his death. So when this Bhaskar was bitten by a dog, Gajanan Maharaj had said something very important, that if he continues to have a grudge, if my devotee wants me, now there is 2 months of life left, after which he will attain liberation. But if he wants me to save him, I will save. But if he keeps the grudge against that dog, okay, he will have to come and take birth and take his revenge. And again, so this cycle, he is very clearly told there that this dog was the enemy from last birth, and he has taken his revenge here. Now if there is any malignity in your mind for that dog also, you are going to be, that is going to become a cause for your rebirth, he has told. And he says, no, now whatever you decide. He was a complete devotee of Gajanan Maharaj. This rest of the story you can read in the Grantha. But the crux is, it is not only the results of the action, it is also the results of your emotions. Some people carry so many grudges. इसने ऐसा बोला, उसने वैसा किया, my son said this, he hit this. So much net, so much, such a big web we have created amongst ourselves. So when we say give up the fruit of actions, don't just take it literally, actions as in what is done by the hands alone. What is done by any of your senses counts into action. What you're speaking, what you're listening, what you're seeing, what you're thinking, everything is into the coming under the domain of the action. So be very, when we read this shlokas, I'm saying we have to do a lot of deep thinking about all these things. And when we have to do these things, how do we do this chintan? How do we do this entire thinking? By the help of intellect. And we have to understand that intellect is the biggest charioteer of our life. Intellect is the one which is going to drive everything. We all are, we have seen in the previous shlokas that this entire deha is like a machine. And in this machine, the Atma is sitting and it is riding. But now suppose you are riding in a car now I'm in Hyderabad. From Hyderabad, I want to go, Bhagyanagar to Sri Salem, I want to go. If while in this journey in the car, I have appointed a driver who is not in his senses, somebody who is drunk or something, and now no matter what you do, the one who is driving, if that person is not in his senses, am I going to have a fruitful journey? No. So the one who is the charioteer, the one who is the driver, has to be in the correct senses. So similarly, our intellect is our charioteer in this life journey. If the intellect is only not in the correct form, then what is going to happen to this life journey? We have to think about this. So Sri Krishna is addressing the root problem here, that you have to address your buddhi everywhere. Why this focus on buddhi yukto jahati ha buddhi? Why everywhere this word intellect buddhi? Because the importance it is, and you will understand that from this, how the driver is crucial in safeguarding your life when you are traveling in a car. Similarly, your buddhi is important in what you are going to get in your life. And if this intellect is right, then where will you reach? Padangachyantyanāmayam, the fourth charan. What is that? It is a state which is beyond all these evils. There is no good, no bad. It is a complete blissful state. And how is this? How is this intellect fixed? That Shri Krishna explains in the next two shlokas. Yadati moha kalilam buddhirvyatitarashyati tada gantasi nirvedam shrotavyasya shrutasya cha. Yadati moha kalilam. How is our intellect? Continuously around temptations. Where is our buddhi? Where is our intellect right now? It is having so many temptations. One small thing, if I have to make a call to my friend and I pick up my phone to just make a call also, first that WhatsApp, so many notifications will come. Then so many apps notifications will come. And then we sometimes forget what we had to do. I had picked up the phone for what? We end up forgetting that only, that what was it I was going to do. This happens with all of us. WhatsApp is there, then so many, that YouTube shorts and all, we will not go there only. But continuously our intellect is surrounded by infinite temptations. That is moha kalilam. It is completely surrounded by temptations. We are living in a sea of temptations only. And what is at the time when you are able to free your intellect, okay, from these temptations, from this yadate moha kalilam buddhir vyatitarishyati, if your intellect is able to sail through this sea of temptations, we all are surrounded by temptations, and if your intellect manages to sail through this sea of temptations, then what will happen? Tada gantasi nirvedam shrotavyasya shrutasya cha. You will go to a state where you will become indifferent from whatever you hear around you. You will leave Shrotavyasya Shrutasya mein, so many people will keep telling you, nah, this is good, this is bad. Once you try doing this, that Jyotishi, do this puja, you will attain this, do this, your Mangal is here, your Rahu is there. All these ultimately they are fruits of your results. See, by telling this, I'm not trying to demean any of the knowledge of astrology. All that is important from its own perspective, all that has its own significance. But somebody who is continuously driven by that, that is incorrect. We should not be driven. Your effort, somewhere that desire and everything is fine, but we should not be driven by all this. Shrotavyasya Shrutasya, continuously, some people, all 10 fingers, 10 types of stones. For what? To attain siddhi, attain success, whatnot. That is not required. Your right intellect is required. Whatever you hear around you, whatever temptations, do this karma kand in itself is a huge thing, and we have to follow that. But that should not be the only driving force. We have to understand that if our intellect is right, we can go beyond all this and do the correct actions. Beautiful actions we will be able to do. Enforcing this, again Shri Krishna continues, Shruti vipratipanna te yada sthasyati nischala samadhavachala buddhistada yogamavapsyasi. The Shruti vipratipanna te yada sthasyati nischala. What we have to understand, our mind gets restless when you listen to this. What is the rashi, what is the fruit of this, etc. Our intellect becomes restless by thinking about the results of the actions. If I do this, will it go? In Navratri, if I don't do this, what will happen? If I do this, what will happen? And then in Shruti here means Vedas. Whatever we hear too much, things, people get engrossed, and then they are not able to stay stable on any one thing. The mind gets perturbed. It is continuously getting perturbed. It is getting disturbed by all this. And there are other temptations also. What is the use of this? What is the use of that? And then ultimately temptation. Sometimes when we see there is a lot of crowd in temples. Some people nowadays, there is so much crowd in the temples. People are becoming very spiritual. It is not necessarily so. Some people nowadays, because the number of desires have increased, now God is not just only for the spiritual thing. People are not reading it now. So many desires are there. Some want success, some want job, etc., etc. Some want only prasad. Some people will say, no, let's not go to this temple. Usme itna little prasad they'll get. Let's go to the other temple. There Mahaprasad is there. So we'll get the entire dinner only. So that is the thing. What is the driving thing behind going to God? That we have to introspect. And here again, this word has come, nischala buddhi, achala buddhi. We have seen earlier also. Bahushakha yanantascha. Previously in this chapter itself, we have seen about intellect, which is unidimensional, which is dedicated in one direction, and Bahushakhaya we have seen a multidimensional buddhi which wants this, it wants all the desires to be fulfilled also. This kind there. So why are we seeking spiritualism? These shlokas, we should use them to introspect ourselves as to what are we seeking out of Bhagavad Gita knowledge. Do we want to just earn respect, or is it for our own liberation? And accordingly, we have to fix our intellect. Samadha vachala buddhi means samadha. Samadha means we have to make it steady. It has to be fixed. How is a building? The building will be steady when the foundation is perfect, and your foundation lies in that buddhi. So fix the intellect, fix the foundation of your intellect. Samadha. And how that intellect you have to make it? You have to make it achala. Achala means immovable, unshakable. That kind of intellect will not get disturbed, will not get bothered. It will take you towards what? Self realization. Where it will take it? Yogam avapsyasi. Tada yogam avapsyasi. So if you are able to fix your intellect properly, then you are going to get what? Yogam avapsyasi. Avapsyasi means we will attain salvation, we will attain moksha, we will attain the ultimate liberation, and that is self-realization. That all will be achieved. So we have to fix the intellect. After listening to all this, Arjun is calmed. By this time, what has happened? We have seen how he was Guru Nahatvan, he Mahanubhavan. He was at that state where he was not sure what I have to do. He was perplexed, completely confused. By this time, Arjun has become calm. He is pleased to know what he is hearing, and now we will see he's become more curious, and he has come up with a very beautiful question, which is going to be a sale for all of us also. He has asked out of curiosity a very good question to Shri Krishna, that how are such people with the correct intellect? He says, Arjuna uvacha स्थितप्रज्ञस्य का भाषा समाधिस्थस्य केशव स्थितधि किं प्रभाषेत किमासीत व्रजेत किम्. Very beautiful shlok. Now this word sthita pragya, it is never heard before Bhagavad Gita. This is Bhagavad Gita's own word. Swamiji always says this is the word coined by Bhagavad Gita, Shri Krishna himself, sthita pragya, and very beautiful word it is. Sthita pragya. Pragya means intellect, and sthita, correct, stable intellect. And what is Arjun asking here? Sthita pragyasya ka bhasha. Here bhasha means define. We have this question now, define water cycle, define all this. So define what is a sthita pragya. What is who is this person who is sthita pragya? Samadhisthasya keshava. Somebody who is in the samadhi. Sthita pragya is in samadhisthasya keshava. Sthitadhi kim prabhashit. What is he? How does he talk? How does he talk? How is his behavior? Kamasi tav prajeta kim. How does he talk? How does he behave? Arjun is curious. Now here, when Krishna, this particular episode from Bhagavad Gita, starting from the 54th slok, it is extremely important. These are some few verses which a person should read daily. In Gita Press, we have a daily prarthana, and all these verses are a part of their daily shlokas, daily prarthana, and these are to be chanted daily. And as I told you, if we want a strong foundation, if whatever chintan we will do, it will come to us, isn't it? Whatever we want, it will come to us. So if we do the chintan of these shlokas, our intellect will automatically get fixed. So these are extremely important shlokas. And here I wish to bring your attention to one important word, samadhisthasya keshava. Samadhi. What is this samadhi? Now we have seen yoga. There are in Ashtanga yoga we have seen different yoga niyam, ayam niyam, pranayam, yoga, everything. The last stage is samadhi. Now, what is this samadhi? What we have seen so far, when somebody has taken samadhi, a state of complete quietness, is sitting in a meditative pose, closed eyes, not talking, etc. This is the samadhi. Yes, this is very much samadhi. But here, this is physical samadhi. It is a samadhi of Hatha Yoga. But there is another samadhi which Sri Krishna is telling us about. The samadhi that Sri Krishna is talking about here is not just the physical samadhi. It is the samadhi in which a person can talk, he can walk, he can do actions, because that is what Arjuna is asking. Samadhi kim prabhasheta, a person who is in the samadhi state of sthita pragyata, how does he talk? So the samadhi state that Sri Krishna is talking about here is not just the one with physical state, but also the mental, the emotional stability, the state in which the samadhi state in which a person is doing all actions, but he is sthita pragya. His intellect is completely fixed. Understand this word? Completely. And in reply to this, Sri Krishna has given a beautiful description from shloka number 55 till the end of this chapter. Whatever is there, it is a beautiful description of Sthita Pragyata. These description, as I told, we have to learn daily. We should try to do their chintan daily. And along with that, we have to also note that these kind of points come in Bhagavad Gita at multiple places. We should, as Gita sadhaks, we call ourselves sadhaks, isn't it? As Gita sadhaks, we have to try to understand all these points. So here what Sri Krishna has told are the characteristics of a sthita pragya. Then we go to the 12th chapter. In the 12th chapter, the characteristics of bhakta, ideal devotee. In the 13th chapter, the characteristics of an ideal jnani, knowledgeable person. And then in 14th chapter, ideal characteristics of gunatita, the one who is beyond the three gunas. 16th chapter, Daivasura Sampad Vibhagayo, the list of Daivi Gun. All these characteristics are extremely important. We should try to read all these. And ultimate motive of all of us is what? We all are sadhak. What is sadhana? We have to understand this word sadhana. Then only we will understand why we are sadhaks. When we say we are doing sadhana, we are doing Gita sadhana. Sadhana is inculcating, an attempt to inculcate all these good qualities, the lists that I told, Sita Pragyata, knowledge, devotee, all the characteristics that have come in Bhagavad Gita, trying to inculcate them in our personality. That is sadhana. And who is a sadhak? The one who is continuously in an effort to inculcate all these values in himself is a sadhak. So when you say you are a Gita sadhak, you should know what you mean. That somebody who you are the one who are trying to inculcate all these characteristics within you. And that is why I love the song that we play at the beginning of Vivechana. It's such a beautiful song. सद्गुणों की साधना में ध्येय ज्योति नित्य जले. If this one song we understand properly and we'll understand the true meaning of sadhak. What is the true meaning of being a sadhak? And as sadhak, it is not just Gita kanthastha karo, just becoming, that is very important. Unless that happens, we cannot achieve anything ahead. But the journey doesn't end there. Don't think that journey is ending at Gita Vrati. Then we have to go Sadguru ki sadhana mein. We have to be continuously on this path of inculcating these values in our life. And for that, the first list starts from this 55th shloka. It's a beautiful definition Sri Krishna gives. Shri Bhagavanu Vacham Prajahati Yada Kaman Sarvan Parthamanogatam Atmanyevatmana Tushtasthitapragyastadochyate. Sri Krishna is telling Prajahati Yada Kaman. He is giving the definition of Sthita Pragya person. What is Sthita Pragyata? Sthita Pragya person. Who is a Sthita Pragya person? The first characteristic that Shri Krishna is given is Prajahati Yada Kaman. So from this shloka till the end of the chapter, we have to read daily. And the first definition, what Shri Krishna is telling Sthita Pragya, who is Sthita Pragya? He is giving an exhaustive description of a person with a steady intellect. To give this first thing, let us understand what is it that is making our intellect unsteady. The answer is very simple. By now, you all must be knowing. It is the incessant, innumerable, infinite desires which are dwelling within us. Now, when I talk about desires, it is not only our own desires, even it is the neighbor's desires. Everybody's desires are creating unrest within us. How? I buy a car, I'm very happy. But our neighbor buys a better car. That is a cause of distress for me. So, not only just our desires and fulfillment of our desires, it's the fulfillment of other people's desires also cause unrest for us. So, it is a very big web, isn't it? Now, my promotion is my promotion. I'm very happy. Other person gets promoted. We are not that happy. So that is a that is also creating distress. So it is not, when we are talking about kama, and again see how vast this web is. It is prajahati yada kaman, when somebody who has completely given off. Prajahati means casted off, given up all the desires. When we say giving up desires, basically means giving up the fruits of the actions. So somebody who has completely given up these actions, sarvan partha manogatan, and atmanye vatmana tushtas stita pragyas tadochyate. Here Shri Krishna says he is a stita pragya. Who is stita pragya? Prajahati yada kaman, the one who is given up all the desires. Now see what, just imagine a stable water, a pond where there is no wind, no air, and there is a stable, non-moving, it happens very rarely, but just imagine steady water. Now in that you put one pebble, one small stone you put in that. What will happen? Ripples will come and there will be disturbances, circle, it will start coming. When these ripples are going to come, the water is going to become unstable. What we are doing in intellect, we all are sattva tattva, we are atma tattva. It has no desires, nothing to do with anything in the world. What we are doing, we are putting these pebbles of desires in it. Not just our desires, other people's desires, other people's achievements also we are putting in that, and creating a lot of ripples at our intellect. We have to stabilize that. So this is, we have to fix. And in here what Shri Krishna is saying, prajahati means not just hati. Hati means casting out, giving up. Now prakarshena hati, when you use the word letter pra in front of it means prakarshena hati, means completely giving off these desires. That is important. And how is this? Atmanye vatmana tushtas, such a beautiful thing. The person being happy with ourselves. Some people, when what to seek happiness, where they will go, and they, so nowadays I see, I've heard this word also, window shopping. Not even actually buying anything, just seeing and becoming happy. So what all ways we can try to satisfy ourselves? So that is not here. What Shri Krishna says, Stita Pragya is Atmani eva tushta. He is self-contained. He finds enjoyment in himself. In himself, he is happy. By just being quiet, is happy. That kind of person is what? Stita Pragya. Stita Pragya Stadochyate. Very beautiful. Now, from the next shloka onwards, from the 56th shloka onwards, beautiful description of how the behavior is. Shri Krishna is going to explain. We have to understand why these characteristics are there. Shri Krishna is building up a sketch in front of us, a sketch of a Sthita Pragya person. When we are going through each of these characteristics, just imagine, just introspect, and every characteristic you fit into a sketch, and that make a ideal in front of yourself and inculcate all those values. There is a beautiful thing. We in Gita Parivar, we do these sanskar vargas. When we do sanskar varga, there is a nara. In our nara is the small sentences that are said, like how we say Vande Mataram and all that. The children are taught in that. In that there is a nara. वर्ग में क्यों आना है, संस्कार वर्ग में आना है, जीवन श्रेष्ठ बनाना है, मीन्स वी हैव टू मेक आवर लाइफ वेरी सुपीरियर. How do we make our life superior? So some child has asked, how do we make the life superior? So the teacher tells him that, you have to stop saying lies. You have to, get up early, and all the good things that the teacher could think about. The child was told that this is how you make your life superior. Now this child is very smart. He says, okay, but how? Means this is fine, I don't have to lie. Can you tell me one person who can do this, who has all these characteristics? I will then say that, okay, like this I have to become. Tell me just one person. Now, from this one example of in Swami Vivekananda's speech, I remember he had told once in his one of his conversations that, do you know who is in Chennai? He was delivering the speech, and there people are not very known. Where Shivaji Maharaj, Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj is not a very well known figure. So he is. Do you know who is Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj? In response to that, he told, I'll tell you who is Shivaji Maharaj. Whatever sadgun, whatever good characteristics you ever read about or know about in the scriptures like Ramayana and Mahabharata, all those characteristics personified as Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. Now this child understood. Oh, okay, so I have to become like Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. If we tell you have to become like somebody, then things become very clear to us as to what we. And then this child, said, oh, okay, let me go through the through the character of this Shivaji Maharaj and understand how to make my life superior. Jeevan Shrestha kaise banate hain? For that, let me see what he has done from his childhood. I will also try to inculcate those values in me and make my life superior. Similarly, for us also, by the means of telling these characteristics, Sri Krishna has portrayed a beautiful sketch of a Sthita Pragya person. Understand these characteristics, see these qualities in people around you and in the different life stories of great people, and we will understand how we can fix our intellect and become Sthita Pragya. Describing the qualities of Sthita Pragya. Now Arjun has asked, what Sthitadi Kim Prabhasheta? How does this enlightened soul speak? Prabhasheta, how does he speak? So the next two shlokas, he has already given the definition. Arjun has been told the definition in the 55th shloka, 56th and 57th shloka. Shri Krishna explains how does an enlightened Sthita Pragya person speak? Kim Prabhasheta. Answering that, Shri Krishna says, Dukkheshvanudvignamana sukheshu vigataspraha वीतरागभयक्रोधस्थितधीर्मुनिरुच्यते दुःखेष्वनुद्विग्नमनः सुखेषु विगतस्पृहः. Now, there is no end to sorrows and calamities, adverse conditions in this world. We all know this. But a person with a steady wisdom, how is that person? Dukkheshvanudvignamana. Anudvigna remains unperturbed. We were seeing the life of Bal Gangadhar Tilak ji, unperturbed by all the sorrows. There is a very, very inspiring incident of his life. How to prioritize everything. He was dictating one article for Kesri. He was dictating one article to his Sahayogi, to his companion, and in that somebody from his family came and interrupted and said something, whispered something in his ear. And after whispering, Tilakji said, give me time for a few minutes, I'll just be back. He went inside and in some time only came out. When he came out, in that meantime, the time of around 10-15 minutes, this person came to know that there is a huge, sorrow that has struck the family. So he said, I'm very sorry to know that when Tilakji came back and he said, okay, let's resume our work. And this person was baffled. He had come to know that Tilakji's elder son, a young son, the elder one, around 20-25 years of age, he had passed away in a there was a health calamity at that time, and in that they had lost his son, just like how we had COVID at that time. There was plague and he expired. Tilakji said, in this entire country, so many people are dying, and one sacrifice has happened from my family. That should not stop tomorrow's edition of Kesri from being printed, because every edition of Kesri is important. It is inspiring. It is awakening my country. The task is important. My family. So he just went to do pranam to the body, and he came and started his work. Sthita Pragyatasi Dukhesh Vanudvignamana. In spite of this huge sorrow, he said, no, my work has to continue. Recently, we saw even when Narendra Modi ji's mother had expired, he had to inaugurate train remotely. He did that. He didn't say, okay, no, he is a prime minister. He could have easily postponed the event, but he didn't do that. He said, no, remotely I can still do it. So that is Sthita Pragyata. In spite of all the dukh, in spite of all the sorrow, they are not leaving. They will not forget to discharge their duties to the best of their ability in spite of that. So the welfare of others, they will strive for the welfare of others without again expecting anything in return. Expecting anything in return. They remain contented, they remain happy and undisturbed in the most unfavorable conditions, like how we saw that even in the jail, they came up with such great literature. Even in unfavorable condition, they are able to do so well. And Sukheshu Vigataspraha. And in they will not crave for like honor, worldly pleasures. So many freedom fighters we know, when they were, after the country became independent, were given lands, and so many of them refused, saying this is we did because it was our duty towards the country, and they refused to take any rewards, any recognitions for whatever they did for their country. That is Stita Pragyata. No, even in this I am not craving. For us, even cake craving we will have. Even for that small desire, we will have craving for chocolates and all. But for big happinesses also, for fame also, these people will not crave. They will remain unruffled, calm, and unmoved. Even if something happy is happening, they'll not like immediately start dancing and, oh, this has happened. No, they know how to remain unmoved. They know how to remain calm in very happy situations also. And Vita Raga Bhaya Krodha, in our entanglement towards this worldly things, we are always gripped with fear and anger, both. Some small thing, fear of future also. Fear is not just fears of ghosts and wild animals and all, a fear of future. Fear of whether I will get success or not. All these fears and anger, if we are not successful, if this is not, I feel anger out of any deprivation. I didn't get this. I really wanted to buy a beautiful sari, but I didn't get to buy it, and then that anger out of that, then we start blabbering, you don't want to buy anything. All those fear, anger, all these things will start. But a person who is determined to do good without any expectation will become completely detached from all um, these things. And such a enlightened person, Sthitadhi, he is the intellect. Sthitadhir Muni Ruchyate. And in all these, they will behave very calmly. They will not, talk in a very, they will not express any kind of discontent over anything. Very beautiful example from Ramayana. We know when Ram was told to go in exile for 14 years. And when Bharatji came back from his Nanihal, he asked Maharshi Vashishta, how was my bhaiya? How did we know how he must be feeling? My brother must be so disheartened to know he was being crowned the king. So he was being crowned the king, and the next morning he comes to know what? That he has to go in exile for 14 years. And in that situation, how he must have felt. Maharshi Vashishta gave an example, and when we are unhappy or extremely happy, we should always remind ourselves of this example. Maharshi Vashishta said, Hey Bharat, I saw Sri Ram when I gave him the news of this crowning, that you are being crowned. I have seen his face at that time. And I have seen his face when he was told to go in exile. At that time also I have seen his face. And at the day, absolutely at both the times, his facial expression was exactly the same. He was exactly there was absolutely no change in his expression. So, Sthita Pragya. In moments of extreme happiness and in moments of such distress also, he was a king. He was a prince, and he had to spend next 14 years in a forest. And in spite of that, the expression at both times was exact. He loved his Ayodhya so much, but there was no iota of distress. Why? Because he was so dedicated towards fulfillment of his duties. That is how the Sthita Pragya is. Further, Shri Krishna explains, Yas sarvatra nabhisnehas tattatrapya shubha shubham na vinandati natveshti tasya pragya pratishtita. Shri Krishna says, Yas sarvatra nabhisneha. We know the meaning of the word sneha. Sneha, love, attachment. Here Shri Krishna says, anabhisneha. Abhisneha is excess love, excess attachment, and anabhisneha. Here, don't misunderstand this word as somebody without any love. It is not without any love. Here, it means without excessive love for anything. How it is nowadays, the parents, how they are, everything they want to give their children, and for giving anything good for their children, they will even go to any extreme, making that reaching to those extremes to fulfill the desires of children is very bad for the child itself. They have become very fickle minded, etc. They don't want to work very hard. They are scared of effort. So much comfort has been given to the children nowadays that they are afraid. They do not want to do any efforts only. So this is abhisneha, extreme, excessive, passion for somebody. They Sita Pragya will not be excessively passionate about anything, will not do excessive love. you know this is it's like sugar in little amount is good. Okay, it makes you feel happy. Excess sugar leads to diabetes, so that diabetic type of love should be avoided. Tat prapya shubha shubham, whether it shubha ashubha, they will not having obtained whatever result, they will not be phased by anything. Na abhinandati na dveshti. Na abhinandati, they will not be like extremely happy, joyous, and not, they will not have any dvesh. Dvesh means no hatred towards anything. Now this hate word has become so common in every conversation. The other day I was walking with some friends, and it is very cold in our city. It rained recently and it's been very cold, and somebody just said, I hate winters. What is there to hate in winter? It is a nature's cycle. I hate winter. So easily we are hating things, around us. That should be avoided. This dvesh, my favorite season, even for that, so much enjoyment. And I hate this hate, and happiness is coming so easily. That is not how it should be. In both states, the condition should be same. Tasya pragya pratishtita. In both situations, whether it is summer, winter, happiness, coolness, anything, in both situations, how is the person's intellect? It is fixed. Pratishtita. It is fixed. It is the same. It doesn't get deterred. And we have to understand that, because if we are overstuck in affection, then it becomes very difficult to detach yourself. Now this is a very important point. Many people, even earlier we have seen how we can keep ourselves detached. It's step by step we have to do. Now, this is, and how this detachment is harmful is, just see, if you are washing your hands with water, easily the water will come off, isn't it? You apply soap, the water is. Now just imagine if the oil gets stuck to your hand, and now you have to wash your oily hands. It is so difficult to take out that chiknai from the hand, take out the stickiness of the oil. If the oil spills on your clothes, if normal water spills or normal some plain color spills on the clothes, easily you can wash off the stains. But if the oil is spilled, it is so difficult to wash off the stains. It is so difficult to wash off your hand. Similarly, if attachment is excessive to your possessions, it is very difficult to take it off. Always remember this. So that is why this abhisneha is not good, and tat prapya shubha shubham, that is also not good. And when we are talking about all this, you will say, what is this? It is again very difficult. To do. It is practically now whether I tell, Swamiji tells, or Shri Krishna himself also comes and tells, no matter how many times he will tell that we should give up on all the desires, but are we ever going to be able to give up the desires? Already people are shaking their heads with no. So in this case, there are some very for this reading scriptures is very interesting. We have a very famous scripture in Vinoba by lectures by Vinoba Bhave in Marathi. There is, he gives very nice, use any trick. Okay, I'm just telling you. He says you make your desires very elaborate. So today, if somebody wants to eat a gulab jamun, now decide that I will eat gulab jamun only if I am able to give it to 100 other people. Like suppose, Mahaprasad me, if I sponsor the gulab jamun, then only I will eat. Otherwise, I will not. If that kind of, so ultimately, how many times will you give it in? Ultimately, you will start saying, okay, then that desire becomes so this thing that if I have to eat a gulab jamun, I will give it only when I give it as a prasad, then only I will consume it. When this is done, so how many people are coming? Prasad 100 now. Easier to eat 2 gulab jamuns, and so I will make 100 gulab jamuns and I will distribute them, and out of those only 2 I will have. That way, slowly we can control our desires by using such subtle tricks. Try to make your desires very subtle. Gradually, people will give up only. Every time we'll make 100 to eat just 2. Gradually, the desire will go. Slowly, one by one, we have to start, doing things slowly. So sometimes people say, last time only we saw so much we have to achieve by learning Bhagavad Gita. It is not happening. If you have ever seen computer engineers or software developers working on their computer, you see there are hundreds of windows open. Even when I was working as a developer on the computer, so many windows they will keep open and keep working, from one window to another window, some editor. When they have to shut down the computer, what they will do? First close one application, then close another application. One by one, each window is being closed. One by one application will close, and then we will shut down the computer, isn't it? That is how we have to go about with our desires. One by one, slowly. Every characteristics that we are going to inculcate, slowly. Don't cut down everything at one shot. I'll become a sadhu from tomorrow. No, one by one characteristics. That's why enlist what we have to do, what I have to achieve. Enlist one by one window we start closing, and what happens? We'll be able to attain these characteristics slowly. And such tricks we'll get in different good books. One trick Shri Krishna is telling from his side also in the next shloka. Yada samharate chayam purmonganiva sarvashah Indriyani indriyarthebhyastasya pragya pratishtita. See, yada samharate chayam, we have to gradually withdraw. So that's what I was telling when I'm saying we have to close one by one application before shutting down the computer. We have to gradually withdraw. So when some temptation comes in front of us, we have to slowly withdraw from these temptations. While we are withdrawing from the temptations, whom should we remember about? Shri Krishna reminds us of Kurma. Kurma is a tortoise. How tortoise does? What tortoise does? When tortoise sees some danger around him, he will, put all his limbs. He will, pull the limbs inside his shell. All his limbs, he'll get into a shell. Like that, we have to also see. If we see a temptation in front of us, what we have to do? Indriyarthebhyas. We have to pull our senses back and put them in a shell. We have to protect ourselves. Here, the moment you say how when this is sensing danger, the tortoise senses danger. When we see temptation, we should feel like on Ekadashi, somebody is showing me samosa. Don't immediately say today is Ekadashi. Yesterday was Utpanna Ekadashi. Now today Ekadashi, bring it tomorrow. No. We have to withdraw our senses. Don't immediately find a way out. It is a danger. This, during a Ekadashi, if somebody is showing me food that I'm not supposed to have, that I have to what? Distract myself. I have to withdraw our senses from these objects, and we have to contain ourselves properly. And further, Shri Krishna explains that just merely withdrawing from the senses is not enough. These the subjects are very distracting. So it is not a mark of a steady person. What Shri Krishna says, Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehinah rasavarjam rasopyasya parandraštva nivartate. All these senses, see, nirahara, here this word, we have to understand. Ahar is something which we consume. So food we consume, ahar for the body is food. But what is the ahar for our ears? Sound. What is the ahar for our eyes? Pictures. What is the ahar for the mouth? Words. So when we are saying be nirahar, it means deprive all of them also. Means listen, be very careful of what you are listening, what you are watching, etc. So being nirahar here, don't think that it means don't feed the senses. It vishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehinah rasavarjam rasopyasya parandrishtva nivartate. He will invest all this from within. See, we can actually not live without doing all these things. So what we have to do, we have to keep these enjoyment away from ourselves. But it is not possible. So what we have to do, we have to fix our mind in the right things, in the root. If our mind is fixed in God, then what we would like to hear, we will like to hear bhajans. Then we will not be attracted to the Bollywood songs. If our mind is fixed in God, then what we are seeing, we will not be tempted to see movies. We will be tempted to read scriptures, Jnaneshwari, and all other things. So this, when we are talking, we will not be wanting to sing any Bollywood songs or any other song. We would want to sing Bhagavad Gita. So this is what happens if the mind is fixed at the right place. See, when we are nurturing a tree, we are watering the roots. If you pluck the flowers, if you are plucking the leaves, also whatever. But what you are feeding the root with the water, if you are giving it with good nutrient water, then the flowers and fruits, everything are going to be very healthy according to what you are feeding the roots with. Is going to and make you understand how the tree is growing up, how where your senses are going, how the tree of your body, where it is investing its senses in. It will depend on that. So fix the mind in God, and then we will be able to fix our senses in the right subjects, in the correct subjects. And this is a difficult task, isn't it? This is a difficult task even for the very learned. And further in the shloka number 60 onwards, Sri Krishna will explain how to overcome this problem. Now that we will have to see in the next session. We will see that from the next session. With this, I offer this entire discussion at the feet of Param Pujya Sri Govind Dev Giriji Maharaj, with whose grace we all have been discussing and learning Bhagavad Gita in the first place. Hari Om, and Shri Krishna himself. Om Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Hari Om Tat Sat. About the time again. I realized it very late.
Thank you, Didi. It was very, very, very engrossing. And beautiful. We all got lost. So nobody was actually looking at the time. We have some questions. And Prabodh Bhaiya has raised his hand. So Bhaiya, please unmute yourself and ask the question. Bhaiya, पूछिए.
जी दीदी नमस्कार. नमस्कार दीदी. ऐसा है कि आई एम थैंकफुल, मुझे लिंक्स मिल गई, लेकिन मैं उनसे पीडीएफ नहीं निकलवा पा रहा हूँ. और मेरी आदत, मैं ये चाह रहा था दीदी एक्चुअली कि जैसे हिंदी में हमें पीडीएफ मिल जाती है लेक्चर्स की, ऐसे ही इंग्लिश सेशन वालों को भी पीडीएफ दी जाती होगी ना, तो उससे मैं प्रिंट, क्योंकि मुझे पढ़ने, मोबाइल से पढ़ने में मुझे दिक्कत होती है. मैं प्रिंटेड मटेरियल को आसानी से पढ़ लेता हूँ, अंडरलाइन कर लेता हूँ अपनी सुविधा.
I understand your problem. So what we will do, I think if whatever is the problem, I will convey your word to the.
हाँ एक्चुअली श्रद्धा जी, ऐसा हो ना कि इंग्लिश सेक्शन वाले पीडीएफ की एक कॉपी हमारे ग्रुप में भेज दें, तो हम उससे निकलवा लिया करें प्रिंट आउट्स.
ओके.
पीडीएफ तो वहां भी बनती होगी.
इंग्लिश की बनती है क्या? आई एम नॉट वेरी श्योर, बट somebody from विवेचन टीम, if you know.
मेरे ख्याल ऐसा
इंग्लिश की बनती है, उसका हिंदी ट्रांसलेशन नहीं आता है. whatever is there, we will
नहीं,
try to
वो
provide
इंग्लिश
you
में ही
with
आवे
it.
ना, जैसे हिंदी में.
Okay. What you can do, Prabodh Bhaiya, this is all shared on the content sharing group. अपने जो ग्रुप के टीए है, टेक्निकल असिस्टेंट, he will be able to get it from the content sharing group for you. So we should talk to the technical assistant भैया.
ठीक है, मैं उनको रिक्वेस्ट कर दूंगा कि भाई इंग्लिश की पीडीएफ जो है वो भी शेयर कर दें. थैंक यू मैडम.
श्योर. थैंक यू सो मच. जय श्री कृष्ण. प्रणाम रुक्मिणी दीदी, प्लीज अनम्यूट योरसेल्फ. प्रणाम.
अनम्यूट करें दीदी. रुक्मिणी दीदी अनम्यूट करो, आपको रिक्वेस्ट भेजा.
जय श्री कृष्ण दीदी.
जय श्री कृष्ण दीदी.
In 54th shloka, samadhistha means one who realized atma jnana.
No, samadhi is a state where you won't move, isn't it? So here he is saying the ones whose intellect is not going to move anywhere. The intellect is samadhisthasya keshava. Samadhistha means it is unmovable, completely, unmoved means not, giving in to all the temptations.
Okay.
Somebody who is samadhistha in that state. In which state? In sthita pragya state, he is samadhi. He is taken samadhi. Okay, so there is a yog samadhi, hatha yog samadhi, and this person we are talking about here, the sthita pragya, he has taken samadhi in sthita pragyata. He is taken that he is immovable from his intellectual
other
perspective.
activities. Okay. Thank you.
Yes, so even while continuing all other activities, he will be able to, he will be able to pursue this thing because his intellect is fixed.
Okay. Thank you.
Jai Shri Krishna.
Jai Shri Krishna. Pranam Kumari Devi.
Jai Shri Krishna. I wanted to ask that suppose a person has in the course of meditation has attained samadhi for a few seconds, then how can that person remain in samadhi after living with the family and other people around?
See, here if you are saying it is again, this is not a physical samadhi. Very important this thing. Samadhi cannot be attained for few seconds. Samadhi is a permanent state. Sthita pragyata is a permanent state. It is a final state. It is not a temporary state. Okay, it is a final state. When a person has taken physical samadhi, he cannot come back into the same body. Isn't it? Similarly, somebody whose pragya, whose intellect is samadhistha in sthita his intellect is such that it is fixed. It has taken samadhi in the sthita pragyata. It cannot come back. One, you cannot say that on this day I was sthita pragya and today I am not sthita pragya. It doesn't work like that. Once a person attains sthita pragyata, he is going to remain sthita pragya for next coming births.
No, like
Okay,
in
and
meditation, like
while
there is
after attaining that sthita
yeah.
pragyata, after attaining that sthita pragyata, the way you do your tasks will be different. So it is not that 2 extra physical feathers are added, nothing like that. The attitude, it has fixed your intellect. The attitude with which we do tasks is the perfect attitude. Okay, you will be able to do karma as a karma yoga. We will be able to do all the tasks with the correct attitude. That is sthita pragyata, and it is a permanent state. It is not a temporary state.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
Jai Shri Krishna. Manisha Didi. Jai Shri Krishna. Pranam.
Just Didi, your expression is very beautiful. Thank you, Didi. But my question was, I raised my hand. That question came to my mind that Sthita Pragya is only for spiritual yogi. If one possesses Rajoguna mode, then and if he want to achieve his goal, so shouldn't he be Sthita Pragya?
He should also be. Sthita Pragyata is not only for a yogi. It is for a karma yogi. So anybody who is doing actions has to has to try to achieve Sthita Pragyata, because your pragya, your intellect. What is the meaning of Sthita Pragyata? Sthita Pragyata means a stable intellect. Stable intellect. So that means you have to attain stable intellect. Why do we have to attain this stable intellect? Because using that intellect we are going to do some actions, isn't it? So if the actions are a result of your intellect, if the intellect is stable, your actions will be able to be done nicely. So your karma will get converted to karma yoga. So you will be able to do the actions in the right sense. So a rajoguni is always doing actions. So if he wants to do all the actions and he wants to become sattva guni, for that the transition goes through these, attaining these levels of buddhi, attaining this level of intellect. Only if he is able to fix his intellect in that way, whatever action a rajoguni person is doing, it will become a sattvic action. Are you getting it?
Thank you, Didi.
Jai Shri Krishna. Ji Soumendra Bhaiya, please unmute yourself. Soumendra Bhaiya,
Unmute कीजिए
please
दादा.
unmute.
सौमेंद्र दादा, unmute करो अपने आप को आप please. Unmute yourself.
Okay, okay.
Send your
Yes, I don't unmute. Yeah, am I audible now?
Yes, yes, Dada.
Hello? Okay,
Yes, Dada,
Jai Shri
Yes,
Krishna. Jai Shri
Ji,
Krishna.
Jai Shri Krishna. Pranam.
So actually this 59 sloka, in that actually earlier first charan, first line, there the thing is like we have to give up all our things, like whatever attachment and other things are there, we have to leave it. But in the second charan it is coming, rasovarjam rasopasya parang drishtva nivartate. So this one I think he is telling that rasovarjam means whatever we are taking, that we have to leave, or we have to again attach to that. In the second line of 59 sloka.
Rasavarjam means leaving the longing. Rasavarjam rasopyasya, rasaha api asya.
Okay.
But what it should be, when nirahara, this is what we have to invest all these. See, we are born as human beings. We cannot say that I just want to not stop seeing everything around me. That is not possible. So see, you have to invest your intellect in God. So what happens, whatever I'm seeing, whatever I'm reading the scriptures. Whatever I'm listening, we listen to the chants, we listen to pravachans of Swamiji. So if your mind is fixed in the Supreme God, then what will happen? All the ahar, all the food that we give for our senses will be of sattva guni type. It will be the right type of food. Otherwise, if you know, if we are just driven by desires and the temptations around us, what do you like to see? We will like to see movies or other things. But if our desire, if our mind is fixed in God, we will see what? We will read Bhagavad Gita, we will like to listen to
So
pravachans.
all
This is how
all
the
the
food will change
attractions will be there.
automatically.
Yes, all the,
Hmm.
okay.
Isn't it? It will
So
impact everything. That is why address the root. Paran drishtva nivartate. When you look at the God, it will be do it.
it will be automatically set right. That's right. Okay. Thank you, Didi. Thank you.
Ji. Ji. Prabodh Bhaiya has raised his hand again. Ji, Prabodh Bhaiya, any pending thing? Yeah, Vivek
आवाज
shall
आ
not
रही है
learn
दीदी?
Gita.com. We have already told him, but he has difficulty, in downloading mobile. So he needs help with that. He had told in the previous session, I remember. That's why the tech bhaiya will help you, bhaiya. No, don't worry.
ओके, मेरी आवाज आ रही है?
हाँ, आ रही है भैया, बोलिए।
जी, मैं दो चीजें पूछना आपसे रिक्वेस्ट करना भूल गया था। जैसे 18वें अध्याय में भी आपने बताया था कुछ इम्पोर्टेंट श्लोक हैं, तो क्या आप कोई ऐसी एक लिस्ट दे सकती हैं किस किस अध्याय के कौन कौन से श्लोक हैं जिनको मैं रोज पूजा में पढ़ लिया करूं? एक बात। दूसरी बात, मैं आपके ऋषिकेश में जो सम्मेलन होता है साल में एक बार, उसका पूरा विवरण जानना चाहता हूं कि वहां अगर हम जाना चाहें तो कैसे जा सकते हैं और कब अप्लाई करना चाहिए, कैसे है, कुछ सिस्टम उसका पता नहीं।
Okay, so Rishikesh Sadhana Shibir, I'll address first. Rishikesh Sadhana Shibir, it will be in month of July or August sometime. उसका एक form आता है. So that form we usually send out a message. That form is there, but the entry is for people below 60 years only. It is for the younger people
अच्छा,
mostly. So
सॉरी।
age criteria होता है. But at the same time, you can also try to go for the Harihar Mahotsav. Or there throughout the month there are lots of, and Mahabharat Katha is there. So you can go at that time also. Otherwise, that time it is, the entry is not like only for young people. There, that time you can try. So
But
for that you will have to contact somebody from Dharmashri. That list I will have to find out. Bhaiya, I'm again not
ऐसा
very.
नहीं, वेरी कंफर्टेबली, मैं आपको ट्रबल नहीं करना चाहता, जब भी मिल जाए मेरे
It's not about
दिमाग में है
I
ये
will seek
करने।
that information for you.
हाँ,
हाँ,
जब भी
I will
मिल
seek
जाए।
that information.
और ये
I'll do
भी
that.
कि रोज रोज कौन से श्लोक पढ़ने चाहिए हमें, वो भी अगर।
देखिए, अब ये तो ऐसा हो गया कि मैं बाई आंख से पढ़ूं या दाई आंख से पढ़ूं वाली बात हो गई, बिकॉज ऑल श्लोकास आर इम्पोर्टेंट. सी व्हेन इट कम्स टू श्लोकास, एवरीथिंग वी शुड ट्राई. सो व्हाट आई यूजुअली रिकमेंड टू माय sadhaks in my batches is that try to read one adhyay every day. Every day, if you say no, all shlokas will, because if we do this list of just few shlokas, no, what will happen? We will become, that will become a shortcut. Slowly, that, from that one adhyay, we will come to small things. So reading one adhyay every day is the best thing. Start from first chapter. If one adhyay, those who have more time, they can do 2 or 3 adhyayas also. So if you do 3 adhyayas daily, then in 6 days you can do all entire Gita Parayan. There will be nothing that remains untouched. But from learning perspective, what characteristics I was telling, those shlokas, if you want to see, the second chapter is Chitta Pragyata, the 12th chapter Bhakti Yoga, the Gunatita Lakshan in the 14th chapter, then the 16th chapter Devi Sampada. All these things you can try to learn. But ultimately, the best thing is read in front of Bhagwanji, read one chapter daily. Everything will be taken care of. There is nothing like important श्लोक और less important श्लोक. एक मरीज को एक दवा काम आती है, दूसरे मरीज को दूसरी दवा काम आती है. All medicines are important ना. We cannot say that tell me which is the most important medicine in the world. I cannot tell, because every patient has a different disease. So every श्लोक is different for every sadhak. For somebody, Sita Pragyata will be nice. For somebody, the devotional chapter Bhakti Yoga will be more nice. Everybody has a different taste. Everybody has a different need. So best is read one chapter every day. That is what I would recommend. Okay, Bhaiya? I can't hear you.
प्रबोध भैया, are you satisfied? आप अनम्यूट कीजिए भैया, पता नहीं म्यूट हो गए, आप सुन नहीं पा रहे भैया।
Unmute. अनम्यूट करिए। हाँ, ठीक है भैया।
हाँ बिल्कुल, थैंक यू वेरी मच।
धन्यवाद भैया, प्रणाम आपको। जय श्री कृष्ण। मोहिनी दीदी।
जय श्री कृष्ण। मेरा ये क्वेश्चन है, ये जो हम कहते हैं that there is आत्मा in every आत्मा, everybody has आत्मा and आत्मा is universal. And what is the difference between Atma and Paramatma? Paramatma is not, we all have Atma and we say that Atma is one. But in everybody there is different, you have
What is the
Atma,
difference
I
between
have
Atma and Paramatma? Now say I go to Ganga river or some Shuddha Pani where some nice water is there, lake water I go. Now there I decide to do a painting. What I'll do, where to take water from, I'll take it from the river. Some nice little water I've taken. And now what has happened, the water in the glass and in the water in the river is same. On the lake is same. Now when I start coloring, I'm putting brush in the glass and the water in the glass becomes colored. That is Atma. So the water which is diluted, which has become diluted, which has come under the effect of this Prakriti, under the effect of this nature, is Atma. The part of Paramatma which has come under the influence of, so this water, it got colored. So though it was the river original Ganga Jal, it was, what it has happened, now I have put paintbrush in it or anything in it, it has changed its colors, it has completely lost its identity, forgotten what color it was in. That has become Atma. And what is Paramatma? The original Ganga which is flowing, that is Paramatma. This is the, at a small little this thing I can explain you. This is what is. So any part of the Paramatma which has come under the influence of Prakriti, that is Atma.
But different persons have different Atma. You have one Atma, I have one Atma.
No, our Atma, same thing. Now suppose when you are painting, I am painting, we have taken water from the same source. Now you colored with blue color, I colored with red color. Your Atma became blue, my Atma became red. So in what surroundings, what sanskar has come to my Atma are different from what sanskar have come to your Atma. So that is what is making difference. But the basic tattva, the basic elemental form, if you say there is no elemental form to Atma, the basic is the same. But what has happened? Because they are under the influence of different conditions, isn't it? That is why it is different.
This Atma travels from one person to another person. When the death will occur, body will go.
It doesn't go from one person to other person. It is changing bodies. So this is very important. We have to understand that we are the Atma, we are changing bodies. What we think that we are a body with a Atma. So our attachment is more for the body than to the Paramatma. So what is happening to this body? What is happening to this Atma? It has forgotten who it is. It has associated itself closely with the body. That is the, it is closely associated with the body. That is why it is forgetting. And whatever it has in the, whatever desires and all those desires got stuck to, our entire time we are doing the chintan of that only. That is why it has become polluted. Okay. So if we want, we have to remind ourselves, we are not a body with a soul. We are a soul with a body. We have to keep reminding ourselves of that. When we remember that we are a soul with a body, then we'll remember we are a soul, and what a soul is a part of Paramatma, we will get less boggled by the things around us. Okay.
Okay,
Makes sense.
Thank you.
certain things are very difficult. Gradually, small, one by one window, we will try to close or open, whatever. Okay? Nice.
Thank
you. Thank you, Didi. Jai Shri Krishna. Pranam to you. Gee, I think there are no further hand raises, Meenakshi Didi.
Thank you, Didi. I always have a takeaway from your session, and in between I forget my role as an anchor. I become one of the sadhak with you. Today, this analogy of Atma and Paramatma with Gangajal was so beautiful. This
I
is
don't
the
know.
takeaway from
That
me
comes from
personally.
Swamiji sometimes. I don't know. Swamiji only gives that intent.
And for
Nothing
us,
is
you are the
mine.
source, Didi. So let me thank you from the bottom of my heart. And as I come towards the end of the session, let me remind all the sadhaks to attend the Gita Sevi program and spread awareness about Gita Ji. Gita Ji is the only scripture that has been given the designation of mother. Gita Ma, we call it, and Gita Jayanti is on 23rd December. We all put so much effort to celebrate Mother's Day and birthday of our mother. So let's put this effort, let's turn this day into festivity, joyous and happy, and spread this awareness to as many people as possible. And also, like Didi said, let's take one step at a time, one chapter at a time, and do some Parayan for Gita Jayanti. On this note, I'm going to bring this session to a close, and for that, as we always do, offer this entire session to the lotus feet of Shri Krishna. And for that, I'm going to call forward Pratibha Didi, who joined Gita Parivar in November 2022. She is from Navi Mumbai, and she is a co-trainer for L4. Didi, can you please close this session for us?
Yogesham Sachidanandam Vasudevam Vrajapriyam Dharma Samsthapakam Veeram Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Jai Shri Krishna.
Jai Shri Krishna, Didi. Let's all move towards bhakti, and for that, let's remember our Hanumanji. Let's together say Hanuman Chalisa and give more energy to our bhakti. Bhaiya?
श्री गुरु चरण सरोज रज निज मन मुकुर सुधारि बरनउ रघुबर बिमल जसु जो दायक फलचारि बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके सुमिरौ पवन कुमार बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि हरहु कलेश विकार जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर जय कपीस तिहु लोक उजागर रामदूत अतुलित बल धामा अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी कुमति निवार सुमति के संगी कंचन बरन विराज सुबेसा कानन कुंडल कुंचित केसा हाथ वज्र ध्वजा विराजय कांधे मुंज जनेऊ साजय शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन तेज प्रताप महाजगवंदन विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर राम काज करिबेको आतुर प्रभु चरित्र सुनिबेको रसिया राम लखन सीता मन बसिया सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सिहि दिखावा विकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा भीम रूप धरि असुर सहारे रामचंद्र के काज सवारे लाय सजीवन लखन जियाए श्री रघुवीर हर्षि उर लाए रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बड़ाई तुम मम प्रिय भरत ही समभाई सहस बदन तुम रोज सगावै अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावै सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीसा नारद सारद सहित अहिसा जम कुबेर दिगपाल जहाते कवि कोविद कहि सके कहाते तुम उपकार सुग्रीव ही कीन्हा राम मिलाय राजपद दीना तुम्हरो मंत्र विभीषण माना लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना जुग सहस्र योजन पर भानु लील्यो ताहि मधुर बल जानू प्रभु मुद्रिका मेलि मुख माहि जलधि लांघि गए अचरज नाहि दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते सुगम अनुग्रह तुमरे तेते राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे होत न आज्ञा बिनु पैसारे सब सुख लहै तुम्हारी सरना तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना आपन तेज समारो आपै तीनों लोक हाकते कापै भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवै महावीर जब नाम सुनावै नासै रोग हरै सब पीरा जपत निरंतर हनुमत बीरा संकट ते हनुमान छुड़ावै मन क्रम वचन ध्यान जो लावै सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा जिनके काज सकल तुम साजा और मनोरथ जो कोई लावै सोई अमित जीवन फल पावै चारों जुग प्रताप तुम्हारा है प्रसिद्ध जगत जगत उजियारा साधु संत के तुम रखवारे असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे अष्ट सिद्धि नो निधि के दाता असबर दीन जानकी माता राम रसायन तुम्हारे पासा सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा तुम्हारे भजन राम को पावै जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावै अंत काल रघुवर पुर जाई जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाई और देवता चित्तन धरई हनुमत से सर्व सुख करई संकट कटई मिटई सब पीरा जो सुमिरई हनुमत बल बीरा जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई कृपा करहु गुरुदेव की नाई जो सत बार पाठ कर गोई छूट ही बंदी महासुख होई जो यह पढ़ हनुमान चालीसा होय सिद्धि साखी गौरी सा तुलसीदास सदा हरि चेरा की जय नाथ हृदय महडेरा पवन तनय संकट हरन मंगल मूर्ति रूप राम लखन सीता सहित हृदय बसहु सुर भूप सियावर रामचंद्र की जय पवन सुत हनुमान की जय।
Jai Shri Ram, Jai Hanuman. Do join Geeta Sevi program. Take this another step forward from sadhak to sevi. Let's see you next week. Have a beautiful, blessed and blissful week. Jai Shri Krishna everyone.
Jai Shri Krishna. Thank you, Meenakshi Devi. Thank you, Janvi Devi.